Extraordinary is an island like no other. Extraordinary is the Isle of Man. Book now.
Hi. In the Isle of Man, like it was on Saturday and Sunday, he's proving unstoppable so far, and we could be ripping up all the record books as we go through the week. Alongside me is TT race winner Mark Miller. We are seeing something special this year, Mark.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole different kettle of fish with the super stocks. You know, they're going to be flat out. There'll be very short, excuse me, splash for cash, for fuel rather, and the sun won't be playing a factor with the shadows flickering in and out. It's going to be a quick race, and whoever can get out of the gates fast is probably going to have a little advantage.
We've only had 3 different winners of this race in the last 10 years. Ian Hutchinson, Michael Dunlop, and for the last 3 Superstock TTs, it has been Peter Hickman, so he's looking for win number 4 in a row. Yeah,
Hickman was fastest in the overall qualifying. He's the only one that dipped below the 17-minute mark, so he's got a big bullseye on the back of his leathers, and they'll all be coming after him, but it's going to be close.
What about this? It's been close this weather today, hasn't it?
Yeah, you know what? It's too expected. If this is the worst that we have for the entire fortnight of 2023, we're doing all right.
Yeah, this is absolutely... we've had to wait a while, but it is clearing, and we saw the sun burning through, and I think some of those jackets that we saw on the start line with the rest of our team, we might be losing them very shortly. As I say, this class was introduced back in 1996. Effectively, it was the production, then it became the Superstock. Ian Hutchinson, the most successful 5 times a production or Superstock TT winner. Bruce Anstey 4, Hickman 3, Dave Jeffries 3, Michael Dunlop with 3, Phil McCallan 2, and then 1 each for Sean Harris, Jim Moody, Cameron Donald, and John McGuinness. So there's not been that too many. Is it a specialist type super stock?
It can be. Like the likes of John McGuinness never liked his super stock bikes. They just never really had the maybe the advantage that his super bike would bring. A special note, though, that Josh Brooks and Jamie Coward are on their super stock bikes for this entire 2 weeks, so they're going to have a real familiarity with it. They did 6 laps each yesterday on these same super stock bikes, so they're both on slicks again, and watch them be a little stronger and closer to the front than I think the 6th lap on Monday.
First away is David Johnson, who's on screen at the moment. I don't know if you've spoken to David yet, but I know he was really disappointed with the way things went at Superbike on Sunday.
Yeah, he's going to be looking for a little bit closer to the front. Everybody's kind of got the cobwebs shaken out now. They've got their day of rest, so they're going to come out swinging. No one's going to be kind of like wondering what they're going to have as far as underneath them.
But we could have a really close race here as well. I mean, and possibly the best chance that the likes of Dean Harrison and Peter Hickman have of taking a victory this week.
Well, Harrison is always really good straight out of the gate on his first lap. Dunlop did very well as well recently, getting quick and up to speed by Glenn Helen. So these are the two guys that are going to probably try to put in, in early couple quick sectors down on the ground and let everyone else catch up. But Hickman's been the man to beat so far on the Superstock.
Yeah, he has. He was fastest in qualifying this week. Michael Dunlop was second, and this man, Dean Harrison, the third fastest. The only 3 riders to go over 1:32 in the Superstock class. Incredible in qualifying.
Yeah, and you'll see also James Hillier, James Coward, these guys. Connor Cummins, kind of an unknown, but Hillier got the fastest lap ever on a Yamaha on Monday, so that's kind of cool for him. But I think Connor Cummins might come out swinging, more so than you might expect. Either he will or he won't, and if he does, he's probably going to be hungry. He's sick of missing, he was really angry, I'm sure, to miss the first 6-lap race. And he'll be wanting to sort of make up for, it's much more fun being on his motorcycle than sitting in a hospital.
Okay, this moment though, Mark, now just looking down on, they'll soon be wheeling their bikes into what we call no man's land before the start. Is this moment now the worst time in terms of nerves and thinking? And you can see Connor Cummins there. It's great to see him back, and it's great because the plan was for him today was have that warm-up solo lap this morning, see how he feels, and if he was strong enough, he would go and race. He obviously feels like he's strong enough to race, which is great to see. But as I say, this moment now, the things that go through your mind and the feeling that you have in your stomach.
Before this one.
Unfortunately, Matt isn't quite ready for us at the moment, but we're just seeing Michael Rutter and Dominic Herbertson. Dominic Herbertson joining the 130 club this week. They'll let anyone in, won't they?
Yeah, how cool is that? I mean, well done to him. That's a big monumental thing to kind of do personally as a rider. It's just another second or two from 129, but it's still fun to say. You saw Michael Rutter on the screen there. He's going to enjoy his 83rd TT start today, equaling his father Tony.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a cool milestone that you've
cool.
equaled what your father did.
Yeah,
he was quite a famous guy, wasn't he?
And he's also very proud of that. I was talking to him about it this morning. His father Tony was a multiple TT winner and Formula 2 world champion. Unfortunately, we lost Tony a couple of years ago, but Michael Rutter, 83rd start back in 1994. I think was his first Isle of Man TT race.
7 wins, I think, maybe.
Yeah, the first being that junior TT victory, which was absolutely fantastically. He was father's footsteps, and absolutely wonderful to see Michael back here again.
I look forward to also keeping an eye on Rob Hodson, number 22, who slipped off at Sarah's during this Superbike race, and he's back. He's a little banged up, but he's going to be good to go. A
personal best all the week for Rob Hodson so far. So yeah, he was very upset, that what happened in that final lap of the Superbike race. Okay, you know how to race around here. Talk us through a very quick lap of the 37 3/4, Mark.
Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so from the grandstands to the first Glen Helen, you're gonna have both super fast, super slow. Going through after Glen Helen, you're gonna get the famous Molyneux's, after Crocovades, through the bottom of Bagheera, which is amazing, really scary actually. Village is like jumping through light speed on the Millennium Falcon with Kirk Michael, ultra fast Bishop Court. Now we're going to leave Balaf Bridge. Oh my gosh, where am I?
So fast, isn't it? We're going heading north up to Ramsey, heading into Parliament Square, and the next timing sector at Ramsey Hairpin, and then the climb over the mountain.
Yeah, at this point you're climbing up the mountain. It's really flowy. You've got a couple of the memorials to get through, a couple of these, like the veranda. You connect all together, and you get to the bungalow and go over some tram lines.
Yes.
Up Hellwood's Rise, you get to the highest point, and from that point, you have another couple really interesting corners, like Dukes and the 33rd, where you connect like 2 or 3 blind corners into one, down through through Craignabaugh, and then back to the grandstands.
So there we go. That was the fastest ever lap, 1 minute 12. Well done, Mark Miller. So that is what they have. They're going to do that 3 times in this RL360 Superstock TT. We are getting very closer. And this man, a 3-time Superstock TT victor. Dean Harrison yet to win the Superstock TT. Anyway, it's great to see Connor Cummins back racing again this week, and hopefully he'll be talking to Matt Robertson, letting us know exactly how he's feeling right now.
Well, one good thing about the cooler weather today has been that they've been selling a lot more coffee at Conrod's stand there, and most importantly, Connor's back as well after missing out a few days through illness. How are you feeling, Connor?
I feel miles better than what I was. It was a rough few days. Unfortunately, it just sidelined me, but it was for the right reason. There's no way I could have raced. So, back here now. This is where my TT starts, hopefully.
You went well here, of course, in the stock class last year, finished second, and actually you posted a decent lap time in practice on Wednesday before you got ill, so something to build on.
Yeah, it's something to build on. As I say, we've not turned a wheel since Wednesday, so it's all a bit up in the air, but all I'll do is exactly what I do every time I get on the bike, is just push and try my best, but got to be realistic as well.
Great to see you back, Connor.
Ta.
Yeah, great to hear from Connor Cummins there, Mark. And this is the one moment in his year, really. And to be sidelined and ended up on a drip in hospital, that's how bad he was.
It's almost unthinkable if you're a racer that it would come down to some flu bug you might have gotten in an elevator or something that would knock you out for 2 or 3 days. But he'll be back strong, and like Ian Hutchinson was saying, sometimes you come off of an illness. It's whether it's from the IV drip or just getting your head clear, or just being really motivated to get back on your bike, because you sometimes we don't appreciate the things we have until they're taken away, and you just want to just absorb, really embrace it the next opportunity you get.
No visor drama, it would seem, for Davo Johnson this time, as we saw the other day. He'll be first away. This moment now, this is when I talked about those nerves, and we talk about it every time, but you cannot talk about it, Mark, because this moment now, the little push through to the start, it's just you and the world.
Yeah, it's a cool place to be. There's nothing like just being left alone with your bike, because we're talking about a course that's so large, and we don't have policemen, and we don't have cars coming the other direction. You're actually being released out into the public with a racetrack that everyone's so kind enough to just kind of like get off and go and hang off, but it just let you go just as quick as you possibly can on sticky tires on a really lightweight bike with a lot of horsepower.
So Davo Johnson will be the first away, the Australian rider, back after missing last year's Isle of Man TT through injury. And then, of course, it'll be Dean Harrison. Davo Johnson will be really looking to get some kind of result today. However, his best qualifying position was 13th. He got in the 127, just almost about to get underway. He's on the C&L Fairburn Properties by Jackson Racing Honda. Then it will be Dean Harrison. This is it. Away he goes. Davo Johnson is away. The RL360 Superstock TT bursts into life. Davo is away. Next is Dean Harrison. Here he goes on the Dow Racing Kawasaki. Third fastest in qualifying, 132.7. He's away. Next will be John McGuinness. He was 10th fastest in qualifying, 128.8. Here he is, the 23-time Isle of Man TT winner, followed by the sensational Jamie Coward, who's been superb all week. He was fifth fastest in qualifying on the KTS Racing-powered Honda, 130.9 for Jamie Coward. Now then, it's James Hillier going at number 5 on the OMG Racing Yamaha. And he's been in the 130s on that, 130.1. However, it's the man who's going to go out next that all eyes will be on this opening lap, of course, as they probably will be throughout the race. Michael Dunlop on the MD Racing Honda. Practically a privateer team. This is he was second quickest, 132.7, followed by Josh Brooks. Now, will he be a little bit closer? However, strangely, 18th fastest in qualifying, on the Monster Energy FHO Racing BMW, 126.4 for him. Now then, Davey Todd, as he puts Sunday's woes behind him, the Malenko by Paget's Honda goes down towards 8 minutes for the first time. Fourth fastest in qualifying, of course, 131.7. We'd expect to see Davey Todd quite close. No number 9, unfortunately. There's a gap there, so there's an extra 10-second delay until Peter Hickman on the Monster Energy FHO Racing BMW goes. Of course, he's won this race 3 times in a row. Will it be 4 times? Only Bruce Anstey has done that in the past. 133.2 for Hickman. Now it's going to be Connor Cummins. Great to see 2 Malenko Paget's Hondas on the start line, of course. And despite his worries, a 7th fastest qualifying time, 129.8 for Connor as we burst down into Bray Hill. There goes Hickman.
Yeah, you're going to see that was no small slouchy time from Connor in the laps that he did get in, 129.8, just below 130.
And we can see the sunshine certainly at the lower parts, lower level part of the Iom Tt course as we get this race underway. It looks like Dean Harrison to me.
Yeah, you know, we're going to probably see the quickest sectors ever from Superstock, I would think, today, knowing that, you know, they all know they were going to have their 3-lap race, and it's not sort of like a canceled or a reduced kind of a thing where it's sort of last minute. From a standing start to Glen Helen, we might see an actual best ever.
Shame we didn't see Michael Rutter get that 83rd start underway. I was hoping just to see that get away, but unfortunately we have got plenty of other riders to concentrate on. Of course, Mike Brown, number 16 on the BERNK Racing BMW, 8th fastest in qualifying, so Mike could be on for a good top 6 finish if things go his way.
Yeah, looking down here on Dean Harrison, who will have his head down. He's typically the best rider from the grandstands to Glen Helen, and I expect today will be no different. However, we saw Michael Dunlop really quick.
I was just about to say that, Mark. So, yeah. So, Davo Johnson is the target for Dean Harrison to... so he's... now pulled another couple of seconds on Dean Harrison. So it's a 6.7. However, that I would suggest maybe, well then again, Hickman now coming up to Ramsey, coming through Ramsey,
yeah,
possibly would see with that. Maybe it's going to be about 2 seconds again, the lead for Hickman over, oh, it's gone out, 3.3 seconds. But that would have been, Dunlop would have lost a little bit more time overtaking James Hillier. So Dunlop is 3.3 seconds behind Peter Hickman then on this opening lap at Ramsey hairpin. It's a good climb across, and Dunlop, of course, now he has Coward and McGuinness just ahead of him. However, over the mountain, lots of overtaking opportunities, as we saw very close with Hickman and Hillier at the weekend. Hickman is on to 11.8 second lead and 10.6 seconds back to Dean Harrison. Davey Todd is still holding 4th place. So Davey Todd is 4th, but he's 20 seconds down on Dean Harrison. But Peter Hickman, 11.8 second lead at the bungalow. Maybe that Honda just doesn't quite have the grunt of the BMW.
Yeah, that's, well, yeah, it's hard to say.
But an incredible second lap. We could be on for an amazing last lap here as well. Peter Hickman holds the lap record in the Superstock class, 134.40, 16 minutes 50.6.
The last lap will be a flyer here.
Yeah, of course, as I say, but again, everybody will tell you, especially Peter Hickman, he wants to win at the slowest possible speed. So we'll look again at Dunlop going into Craig Nabar. But the thing is, Peter Hickman will be getting bored saying that he has a healthy lead, and I think he would easily take a lead of 11.8 seconds at the bungalow on lap 2 of a 3-lap race at the Isle of Man TT, Mark.
Yep.
And he might just do what we saw Dunlop do at the weekend on the final lap, and he might just ease it off a little bit, just make sure he brings it home in 1st place.
It's almost guaranteed. You know, he's won a bunch
We've seen
of
it from him before.
Yeah,
you know, so I mean, I remember last year a suggestion, all of a sudden that he had, say, a 14-second lead, and then all of a sudden it came down to 8 or 9, and I'm like, oh, what's this? But no, next sector it's back up again.
You'd never forgive yourself if you did something silly. I mean, even you see these guys wheeling across the line and they lose the race or something, they're waving. Yeah, no.
Well, I think he might just be spinning up that rear. Is he? Here he goes. No, he's just come in, just giving them all a wave. So Peter Hickman on victory lane. So Michael Dunlop comes into the winner's enclosure again. However, he's not going down the start, and Peter Hickman, a handout for all the fans as well. He appreciates all the support he gets. Look at that, time for everybody. They all want a piece of Peter Hickman, and they're all getting a piece of him. His 10th TT victory alongside the greats Stanley Wood and Giacomo Agostini.
Yeah, well done, Peter. This has been a really class showing out of the man.
And of course, that is the 4th Superstock TT win in a row. He won back in 2018, 2019, and 2022. So he is Mr. Superstock at the Isle of Man TT as he comes into the winner's enclosure. Dean Harrison knows where to park his bike. This time, though, Peter Hickman, delighted that he goes into the #1 position. Stunning race, great riding. Darren Jones there, the crew chief, Ho, the team owner, the rest of the crew to congratulate. Those are the happiest eyes in the Isle of Man right now, Mark Miller.
Yeah, it's after the tough go of
Extraordinary is an island like no other. Extraordinary is the Isle of Man. Book now.
Well, welcome back. This is race day 3, part 2. The first Super Twin race of this year's Isle of Man TT will be coming up shortly, and we've had a couple of hours now to digest what was a thrilling opening Superstock encounter. Peter Hickman back to his very best to claim his 10th TT victory alongside me, Maria Costello and Patrick Farrance, who between them have competed in dozens of TT races across the various classes. Super Stocks earlier, Maria, and Super Peter Hickman back to his best, as I say.
Yeah, we're seeing the real Peter Hickman there. I think it was a bit hidden away in the Superbike race because of the issues he had with the bike.
He was determined, Patrick, wasn't he, Peter, that Michael Dunlop was not going to have TT 2023 all his own way?
He was determined. It was a pretty dominant display, all told. To pull away from both Dean Harrison and Michael Dunlop the way he did, he just set the bar a little bit higher for them guys.
Let's talk about Peter a little bit then. Peter Hickman is Peter Hickman, but going into this race tonight, we don't really know what to expect. He's had a very difficult preparation for this race, to say that at the very least, not just this week in qualifying, but at the Northwest 200 in Northern Ireland as well. What can we expect from Peter?
If that's all right, Paul. I'll lean across the Jenny. How are you feeling for this one, mate? You got a podium here last year, and it's one of those classes, isn't it? You never quite know.
Yeah, that's it. Just as long as we finish, you never know what could happen at the race with these twins. They're that highly tuned, they're taking time bombs. So, if we're in there with a fight at all, we never know where we could be at the end of the lap 3. So, yeah, I'm up for it. I'm ready to get stuck.
But in the last 9 years we've been having a Super Twin race, we've had 7 different winners, and also worth noting, Mark, that 3 of the 4 fastest bikes in qualifying have been Patton's, and Patton have won the last 4 Super Twin races. The first 5 were Kawasaki.
Yeah, Kawasaki's are allowed. Yep. And the Kawasaki's are allowed a little bit more CCs. They're up to 700 this year, so but they're still going to be this extremely ultra high state of tune. So they're going to be trying to bring it to the Pattons and the Yamahas and the Aprilias. But we're going to have a real scrap for the the podium spots, even if somebody like Michael Dunlop, who smashed the lap record early on, runs away with it.
We have to mention Mike Brown going at 16, 3rd fastest in qualifying.
Yeah, that's impressive. There's going to be a lot of guys looking for a podium, and it could really go right down. So keep an eye out on the guys that are a little bit further back. Josh Brooks, of course, he said earlier today that his bike is competitive. He just needs to kind of get on the brakes a little bit later and the gas a little bit earlier, and he has the potential to fight for the box.
Before this event, I'd have said Michael Dunlop and Jamie Coward were the 2 to look out for. Qualifying backs that up. But there are so many other names in here. This is the most open field we have as we wait for Dominic Herbertson to get away. There he goes. A fastest time of 116.8 in qualifying. He's away on the Kawasaki. So Dominic Herbertson leads 3 laps is the race. This is Michael Rudder goes next. He's on the Yamaha R7, new for Super Twin this year. He was 8th fastest in qualifying. Next, Paul Jordan. What a story that was last year in 2022. And he took that podium. I said at the time it was as good as a win. But Jordan away on the Kawasaki. He was 7th fastest in qualifying. Next, though, Jamie Coward, the man who could really take the fight to Dunlop in this race. He's away on the Kawasaki as well. The fastest qualified Kawasaki, 121.0. Then it's Rob Hodgson. Rob Hodgson away, as we said earlier. He's had personal bests in all his classes, 6th quickest in qualifying, but this is the man, the hot favourite. Unofficially the fastest on the lap record. He is also the lap record holder. So Michael Dunlop is away. He's on the MD Racing pattern. Next, though, Josh Brooks. He's been under the radar so far this week. He gets away on the Dapperbet Racing Kawasaki. He's got pedigree, so has that team as well. Then it's this man, the Frenchman, Pierre-Yves Bihan. We've seen him get some great results in the past. He's away on the pattern, 4th fastest in qualifying. Then we've got a non-starter at number 9, so a little bit of a gap until this man gets away. Peter Hickman managed to qualify it this morning for the first time. He's on his own Yamaha R7. What will Peter Hickman be able to produce on this? He's had no luck with the machine all week, but this time he's away. and he'll be hoping that he's performing another wheelie at the end of this race. We just need to get the two guys away as well. Stefano Benetti on the pattern, the Italian riding for Team ILR, and also his teammate next, who we saw spectacularly in Kurt Michael this week, Francesco Coringa, and next away will be number 13, Michael de Koppel. Yeah, we're really going to be looking forward to that first Glen Helen split to see kind of where everybody's at. Hickman is such an unknown. He's such a fantastic rider around here, and he just hasn't had the laps on this thing. But he did win last year in 2022, but that was on a pattern. So we're looking at Dominic Herbertson. He's first on the road. Yeah, and after that little hiccup going into the pit lane, the super stock, he's going to be just kind of wanting to have kind of a normal race, won't he? Yeah, that's James Chalk going, and next is this man, Mike Brown. Great that we've come back to him on the Burroughs Engineering RK Racing pattern. Yeah, he's been right up there. Third fastest in qualifying, 119.7. He is a real talent, and he's definitely one to watch for the future. Great Southern Irish rider, brilliant. So here we are, Bottom Grey Hill, even on a Super Twin, it's spectacular. Yeah, these things are really different to ride. You you don't accelerate as hard and you don't brake as hard because you just want to keep that average speed up, even more so than on a 600. Just plodding away with this twin, kind of pop like you're on a track from 2015. So that's probably going to go today. Well, we wondered well, we didn't wonder, but we had some evening qualifying sessions last week. Fantastic preparation for tonight because we now have an evening race, and already Jamie Coward is coming up on the rear of Paul Jordan. So no surprise to see Coward on a super fast pace so early on in the race. Yeah, I think the fans are welcoming that sunshine back. It's all back in its glory, but the riders might be like, gosh, it was pretty easy this morning. Jordan just scrubbing off the speed. Oh man, look at that speed that bike's got. So he's ahead of Rob Hodgson already. 31.85, so he's just outside the lap record on the sectors. Obviously it's a standing start, etc. As we look again, we're following Peter Hickman once more on the Yamaha R7. But Josh Brooks is still kind of holding his own there. We'll see how the attrition comes into play. It is only 3 laps, but in the past there has always been a bit of attrition in the Super Twins class. So here comes Hickman, should still be in 3rd place. So Hickman goes through the bungalow. Jamie Coward still holding 2nd place, and Hickman 6.6 seconds back. So yeah, he's lost a bit of ground on the leaderboard to Jamie Coward. Still 5.7 seconds ahead of Josh Brooks, but we've still got Mike Brown to come through as well. As another minute before Mike Brown comes through the bungalow. Meanwhile, Michael Dunlop continues to lead this race, 11.6 seconds ahead of Jamie Coward, who is in turn 6.6 seconds ahead of Peter Hickman. Then 5.7 seconds, it's Josh Brooks. There's 3 bikes. We've still got Mike Brown to slip in there into 3rd place. 3 bikes on screen going into the Craig on the first lap. That's Herbertson with Coward and Michael Rutter at the back of those 3. Now, Dominic, you got to be like, I got to pit, mate. Got to pit, got to pit, got to pit. You got to pit because the last race he actually missed it. That's right. So, yeah, there was some debate as to whether he saw Michael Rutter suddenly break and then he seemed to miss it. But here is Mike Brown. I'd say that was quicker than a minute. So Mike Brown still in 3rd place, but he's lost a little bit of ground to Jamie Coward. He's 3.4 seconds down on Coward now, and he's 3.2 seconds ahead of Hickman. So a good sector from Ramsey to the bungalow for Jamie Coward, who was faster than anyone on that sector. A 3:32.3 for Jamie Coward, whereas Dunlop was 3:33.7, Brown 3:34.1, Hickman 3:34, Brooks 3:35, Rutter 3:36. Nothing in it really, but sector by sector, if you're a couple of seconds down at each sector, by the end of a lap you could be 8, 9, 10 seconds down. But it depends really on what's going on with Mike Brown. Still got a little bit of a wait for him to come through. Hickman hasn't come through yet, but he should be any moment now. So Mike Brown's best finish at the TT was just last year in 2022 in the 2nd Supersport race. He did get a top 10 at 9th. Oh, that's right, he did. He came and even despite breaking his ankles, it was a really brave ride from Mike Brown. My apologies, of course. Yes, he did. He was practically being helped on and off the bike last year. How could I forget? It was incredible. Hickman, really, really fast. He's just done on the sector speed. He was the fastest on there. However, We're still waiting for Brown to come through. He should be coming through very, very soon. But Dunlop continuing to lead by around 24 seconds from Jamie Coward. But here is Brown now, is it? Yes, it is. Brown goes through, and it's 2 seconds that advantage over Jamie Coward now.
2 seconds.
And he's eaten into Dunlop's lead. It's 21.9, so he's taken a couple of seconds out of Dunlop and a couple of seconds out of Jamie Coward.
Well, he's going to have to put in the lap of his life, to get this second place. Jamie Coward's not going to lift one iota, and they need to do everything clean and by the numbers.
It's a super twin raced at high speed on the most demanding course of the world can sometimes not end the way you want, and things can go pop sometimes, so it's not over till it's over. Here comes Rob Hodgson. So
nice wheelie out of Solby Bridge.
Yeah, so say Rob has had personal bests all week, but we're now looking at the man in second place, back in second place.
Yeah,
so,
this is Jamie Coward coming out of the gooseneck.
But again, Mark, we're now on that bit of track where Mike Brown took time out of Jamie Coward, and so therefore Jamie Coward might find himself shuffled back to third again. There goes Brooks.
It's exactly what we had hoped for at the beginning, which is the fight for the podium places is real. It's coming down to the wire here.
A little bit of chatter on the front as he goes into and around the Ramsey hairpin. And Josh Brooks is trying, isn't he? Oh, a little bit of movement on the exit as well. This should be Hickman. This should be Peter Hickman, and it is.
It's not difficult to short shift a little bit or just short a little bit, below red line. That's not going to really throw off your tempo or your pace. So that's something, any racer can do, which I'm sure he is doing. But still hitting all the apex. He's definitely not throwing the thing around like he would, I think, if he had to sort of go for a track record. But
I think Josh Brooks will be happy with a top 6.
Yeah, I think
on a bike in a class that he's never really never done anything before as Hickman comes through as well. So Hickman's still holding 4th place. We've just got to wait for Mike Brown to appear, and he'll be around in about 30-40 seconds time at the bungalow. But Michael Dunlop half a minute ahead of Jamie Coward, and Jamie Coward is almost half a minute ahead of Peter Hickman, who's around 10 seconds ahead of Josh Brooks.
It's nice to have some parity in this class. Actually, we've got Pattons and Kawasaki's and Yamahas all in the top 5.
Certainly, we are looking at Michael Dunlop, who will become, if he holds it together, as Mike Brown goes through. So Mike Brown goes through, and it is 1.3 seconds the advantage over Jamie Coward. It's going down to the checkered flag between Mike Brown and Jamie Coward.
Yeah, no big change there. So it's definitely, it's up to Coward to just dig deep and find something in this last few miles.
He'll be getting boards, of course, and he'll know he's in a fight. He probably won't know, he won't realise. He might think it's Hickman, he might think it's Brooks, he might even think it's Coward, because Coward did go so well in qualifying, and Coward is turning what he did in qualifying into what he's doing in the race.
Well, the pit boards are capable of having a name, etched on there, especially if it's somebody you're used to racing with. So if he's got enough rows on there, the team could just say, expect this guy to be good over the mountain by giving him a number, even just to competitors.
Career, here he comes.
Witnessing
He'll be coming out onto the Glencrutchy Road. Yes, he now will surpass John McGuinness. They're tied on 23 wins. But here comes Michael Dunlop. He is going to win the Carroll Nash Super Twin TT race, the first of the week. It is 24 TT wins at the Isle of Man for Michael Dunlop.
Well done, Michael.
What a legend.
That is fantastic. We are definitely witnessing history, and someday we're going to look back and go, remember when Michael Dunlop did this.
And there goes Jamie Coward now then. He has crossed the line in second place. We've got a little bit of a wait to find out whether he will hold on to second place on the road or whether he will indeed be third place on the timesheets.
Yeah, did Brown have to start 16th? I mean, we're waiting now. We're going to be like holding our breath.
Yeah, this is a little bit like Hislop and Fogarty back in '92. When Fogarty was at number 4 and Hislop was at number 19. So we've just got to wait for Mike Brown to come in. Michael Dunlop, though. Yes, this baby's brought it home.
Number 1, second place in all-time wins. Isle of Man TT, Michael Dunlop. Everybody, take a bow.
And it's his 3rd Super Twin TT in 4 races. Yeah, Patton have made it 5 in a row now at the Isle of Man. Kawasaki had the first 5. And now this time on his own bike as well, his own MD racing machine.
I wonder if he's looking down at anything in particular, like maybe a couple little droplets or something strange.
Right, we're waiting for Mike Brown to cross the line. Where is Mike Brown? Still waiting for him to cross the line, but Jamie Coward did take a little bit of time, and Dunlop dead easy back. Oh, and a little bit more emotion from Michael Dunlop on this one than we saw in the 600s and thousands.
Hanging around Italians anyway.
But where is Mike Brown? We've got to see Mike Brown across this line. Hickman has crossed the line now. So Hickman, as it stands, is in third place, but Mike Brown, through Crocknamona, was 2.6 seconds ahead of Mike Brown. So all being well, he will cross the line in second place. So we're waiting. We're waiting for for Mike Brown to see if he has picked.
They're holding Hickman up at the podium there to make sure he
That's what I'm saying. And here he comes across the line. Mike Brown takes it 2.2 seconds ahead of Jamie Coward. Peter Hickman is told, come back another day, because Mike Brown has finished second to Michael Dunlop.
Check him out. This
Carol
is
Nash
big.
Super Twin TT. Mike Brown in second place, 2.2 seconds ahead of Jamie Coward. So Jamie Coward, though, he'll be delighted.
Absolutely fantastic job by Mike Brown and Jamie Coward.
So Michael Dunlop wins with a lap of 120.5. His lap record is 122.7. But here comes Mike Brown now. What a feeling that must be. He's told to go into the winner's enclosure.
Oh, he had to. Okay, there we go. Number two.
Coward. Maybe Jamie didn't know. Maybe Jamie thought he had second. And has just been told. Well, the thing was, he had. Well, to be honest, though, having
he's going to get mobbed.
He would have had to hold because until he was confirmed in third place. So yeah, there we go. That's the money shot. Mike Brown, fantastic.
There's Mr.
John
Burrows. Yeah, baby.
That's what they came for.
Well done.
As Jamie Coward as well on the podium at the Isle of Man TT.
Yeah, looks a little disappointed, but nothing to be disappointed about.
He's a very, like Michael Dunlop, he's a very methodical kind of guy, is Jamie. So I think even if he'd won, I think we'd probably get a similar reaction from him.
Right?
And the same with Mike Brown here, you know.
Yeah.
He's just so quiet and laid back. And you see there, you know.
Little like guy.
Oh, here we go. There's the smile. There's the smile.
There's your man.